Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of The Furniture with me, Daniel. It's Season 2, Episode 7, and today we go into the first round of the National League playoffs, where we have a home game against Barnet, with a place in the semi-final up for grabs. We didn't worry about coming back for the last game of the regular league season, as we said we would in the last episode, purely because there was nothing to play for. We couldn't finish in third place, which would have got us straight through to the semis, and we couldn't finish below fifth, so we knew we were going to be at home in this leg. The only thing that did happen on the last day of the season is we beat Sutton United, which means we're playing Barnet instead of them today. But the main story from the end of the season is, as well as Sutton, we were planning in that double-header to play Forest Green. That was no longer necessary because we were both out of sight of the title. They'd had a huge collapse down to fifth, and they managed in the last two games to beat us and then their final day opponents to get up to third. And it means we could well play them at some point during this playoff campaign, which is a remarkable story really, because they've got such a good side on paper. They're one of the only National League sides that are in a good position financially, and I don't know how they collapsed so much, to be honest. But what it does mean is that Maidstone are going into the Football League, I think for the first time in their history. They had a brilliant finish to the season and ended up winning the title. If we have a look, it doesn't look like they've ever been at Football League level. So a fantastic achievement for the club. We're just going to check once more. They have won the National League a couple of times before, but that was back when you couldn't get promoted unless you applied and had a certain criteria met. So they've never played in the Football League before as a result. But we'll be hoping to join them next season, although there's some very tough competition. Wrexham finished second, a side we always struggle against. Forest Green we've mentioned already too, and Hartlepool usually give us a good game as well. But there's no point looking ahead because we've got to play 7th place Barnet first, and if we don't beat them, then all of that will become irrelevant. Let's quickly show you the games we've played off camera, the last few of the season. Obviously you're with me as we lost to Bromley 1-0 when they had 9 men. It was a remarkable game, and it was in the middle of a downward spiral where we went 6 games without a win. So we had 3 draws in succession after that one. Firstly at home to Harrogate, which was a fan day. Luckily it was an exciting occasion, despite the fact we didn't win. We went ahead in the 90th minute with Scrimshaw getting his second of the game, and still managed to give away the game, with Dominic Knowles scoring a minute later to even the score for Harrogate. We then played away to Stockport County, who were down in the relegation zone at the time. I'll have to go and check to see if they stayed up, because we didn't want them to go down. We got a 1-1 draw in that one, again letting a late equaliser after Ruari Keating gave us the lead from the penalty spot. We then played Barnet, today's opponents, at home. Hopefully we'll do better than this. It was a 1-1 draw. Barley Mumba with the goal. It started a fantastic run of form for him over the next few games, but unfortunately an own goal from one of our new signings evened things up for Barnet, and it stayed that way for the rest of the game. We then played away at Hartlepool and finally got back to winning ways. Barley Mumba again with a goal to seal it this time after Edwards John had given us the lead. And then we played Ebbsfleet at home and won 1-0. Barley Mumba in an absolutely nothing game. In a 92nd minute, curled in a 30-yard free kick into the top corner. Absolute postage stamp finish. It was a brilliant goal and we nicked an undeserved win as a result. We then went away to Wrexham, who finished second in the league, as we just saw. Darren White with an early penalty, but yet again we concede a late equaliser. It's something we're really struggling with at the moment, as they pump balls in the box towards the end of the game. We don't have that big aerial presence like we did with Reece Williams, and as a result we concede goals occasionally. But we did win comfortably at home to bottom side at the time, Eastleigh. A 3-0 win, Brad Walker getting a brace, and Jake Scrimshaw getting on the score sheet as well. We had to rotate the side a bit for that one because it was at the end of the Easter weekend, but we still got the result, so we were happy with that. We then played away to Forest Green, who finished third. Barley Mumba again got the goal, but we were already 2-0 down at that point. A horrific start which cost us the game in the end. We had a 2-week gap before the end of the season, so we played a friendly which we won 4-0. And then on the final day of the league season, Jake Scrimshaw's penalty ensured we got a 1-0 win at home to Sutton. So we go into this Barnet game in relatively good form. If we show you the last couple of signings, Sam Kelly's on his way out because he has not been happy at all the last few months. He hasn't got in the team because he's been one of our poorest players overall, and he's been complaining about it, so off he goes. We had a couple more that came in, our parent club Sunderland doing us a favour when we had a few injuries to help bolster the squad. Andrew Nelson's a pressing forward, 4-star ability, 4.5-star potential. Back out the team now because he didn't score a goal in 5 games and was pretty poor. Didn't look like he wanted to be here, and although he's technically the best striker at the club, he certainly won't be starting this one. The other one we had in was Luke Molyneux. Again, we had injuries on the wing, and when Sam Kelly threw his drop, we needed to make sure we had some backup. So Luke Molyneux can cover on the left wing as a natural left footer, and he's a natural on the right and can play up front as well. So a fairly solid signing across the board, and you can see he's come off the bench a few times too. But let's not hold things up anymore. We need to get into this game and see if we can get ourselves through to the semis. On paper, we should be winning this game. We finished above them in the league. They only snuck in on the goal difference on the last day. And if we look at the playoff game played yesterday between Hartlepool and Boreham Wood, 7-3. And Boreham Wood caused a shock in that one. So let's hope we're not on the end of 1-2. The team we've got out for today is just about as strong as we can go. It's Jones in goal, White and Hume are the fullbacks with Byrne and Sokolic in the middle, Edwards, John and Berkovic are the wingers, Payne and Mumber in central midfield, and Scrimshaw and Kennedy up front, purely because Matt Foy has been in awful form. I can't remember the last time he scored a goal actually, we didn't mention him in that review. And that's a reason, because he hasn't scored since the last episode. So that's a bit of a concern for us. And as a result, we've put Nelson on the bench as well, just in case. Sacrificing a centre-half to do so. But let's get into the game, and fingers crossed we can get through to the semi-final. We've finished 4th in the league, which is where the media expected us to finish. The board only wanted a top half finish, so we've overachieved by their standards. And if we can get to the semi-final, it's job done in terms of being the 4th place team. And of course, once you get to the semis, it's just a one-off game and absolutely anything could happen. We're going to tell them to prove a point. Of course, we've got a tunnel interview with the National League playoffs, always live on BT Sport. So I'd be watching this one at home if I wasn't in charge. But we're speaking highly of them. We just want to get on with things. The lads have done so well. Don't forget we were newly promoted. Jake Scrimshaw just passed the centre kick out for a throw-in, but thankfully we get away with it. The highlight ends, and with 2 minutes gone, we're on the attack again. Kennedy gets the ball out to the left to Berkovic. Berkovic trying to beat his man, gets a good cross in towards Scrimshaw, just over his head, but he brings it down to Edwards John. We're still on the right now, into Berkovic, gets the header in, but it's a tame effort, and it's straight at the keeper. They've got the ball again with their keeper now, 3 minutes in. Long ball up, which Mumba wins. It's fallen down to the centre half. They're playing a 3-5-2. We hate playing against formations like this. Hume gets the ball back to Jones. A long clearance, but only as far as their central midfield. Walker on the edge of the box, back to Shehuza, but it's won back by Edwards John out to the right-hand side to Scrimshaw. Scrimshaw with the ball across the box, is he? No, he's got a touch in this time, no. It's knocked away as far as White. White back to Payne on the edge of the box. Payne gets the ball out to White again. Can we get a delivery? And he finds Mumba on the edge. And talk about a big game player. We said he's the difference between top half and playoffs. He kept us in the playoffs with his run of form when everyone else had fallen apart in March and April. And he's got us off to a flyer in the playoffs with a wonderful strike. The long throw's knocked away to Berkovic on the edge. Out to Payne again. Payne's got the ball across to Berkovic. Berkovic deflects to Kennedy 12 yards out. Edwards John coming into the box goes for the shot, but it's blocked. He gets the ball in from the right again, but this time it's blocked out for a corner. Barley Mumba, what a strike that was. It's a lovely place finish. He scores so many of them. Byrne wins the header from the corner. Knocked away to Berkovic on the edge. And now he stores a screamer. The keeper hadn't quite recovered from the original save. But from the edge of the box, Berkovic with a fantastic strike. He started the season so poorly, but he's really come into his own in the second half of the season. And that's why Sam Kelly's not been able to get in the team. A fantastic strike. 2 in a row from us. And with just 10 minutes on the clock, we're 2-0 up. Mumba wins it back for Scrimshaw as we're coming forward down the right again. Edwards John with a delivery. Scrimshaw header hit the post and it's behind for a corner by the centre half. Oh, if we'd have got that, it would have been wrapped up already. But what a fantastic start by the lads. White's ball into Byrne at the back post. Knocked down for Mumba. What an effort, but it's blocked. Byrne gets the ball in again. Berkovic win the header. It's knocked to Mumba who volleys, but it's blocked. It's cleared away. A bit of pinball in the Barnet area there. But what a fantastic start. And with 20 minutes gone, we're 2-0 up. We've had 12 shots, 7 on target. Barnet haven't threatened the goal once. A very quiet 20 minutes, but with 5 minutes until the break, we've got another attack with a long throw. It bounces out to Mumba, who heads it wide to Payne. Back to Mumba on the edge again, but this time he's been challenged and Barnet can counter. They've got 3 on 4 now, but luckily they've slowed it down. We've managed to get a few men back, but they're still coming forward now. A long ball up only finds White, the right back. Edwards John brings it away. Headed back out by Barnet, but they've got it on halfway and they're starting to dominate possession a little bit here. And Walker's got him one-on-one. He's missed an absolute sitter with the keeper there. He's put it over the bar. The defence got sliced open by a really poor straight ball over the top. And that's a little bit of a concern going into half-time. We've got a free kick with Kennedy 40 yards out. Don't know why he's taking it. It's headed away back to Kennedy on the edge again. Deflects out for a goal kick. I think it went off his own man because it looked like it deflected. But on the stroke of half-time, it's 2-0. But Mumba has a free kick from 30 yards. It hits the bar. What a way that would have been to finish the half. But at the break, it is 2-0. And we look comfortable against Barnet here. We'll give the lads the team talk. We're going to tell them to prove a point again. We do not want them to step off the gas one bit. There's a huge crowd in at Plainmoor, something they probably haven't seen since they were in the Football League last time. But they've got a long ball over the top from the kick-off, which White clears away, but thankfully it's out for a throw-in comfortably. It's White in the fullback area again, goes down the line to Edwards-John. Mumba with the ball coming up to halfway. Edwards-John goes up towards Kennedy. He misses it, but so does the centre-half. They go back to the keeper, Barnet, and it's a long ball down the field. They've got up with Sokolic, what a header that is, and it's back across halfway. Scrimshaw nicks it off the centre-half, but unfortunately Pugh's won it back again. Might have actually been the centre midfielder dropping deep there. White heads it away to Payne and he flicks it on, but Pugh's got there and he's only found Hume. Hume with a long ball over the top, which Kennedy wins the touch. He's taking on the centre-half, beats him, deflects back to Payne on the edge of the box. Another good effort from the edge, but it's straight at the keeper and it's still 2-0. A throw-in on the left for Barnet with Johnson. Back to Dempsey and he plays the 1-2. Dempsey on the edge to Pugh. We've got to close them down. They're starting to get a foothold here. Byrne blocks the shot and is headed away as far as halfway. But Dempsey's the man who's there again. And now Pugh can bring it forward to Johnson on the left. He's got acres of space. Johnson goes all the way back. It's a really poor ball. And he actually finds Scrimshaw on halfway. A thunderous challenge by the Barnet midfielder, but it's cleared eventually. Berkovic on the left wing over the top. Kennedy's in one-on-one from it. Has the shot. Beats the keeper at the near post. Flies into the roof of the net. And with 50 minutes on the clock, we're 3-0 up. A wonderful long ball from Berkovic, who again's been brilliant in this game, and Kennedy slots it home beautifully. Mumba has a free kick from 30 yards, but it's straight at the keeper and he deals with it comfortably. 65 minutes on the clock and we couldn't be much happier with where we are, but Payne's given away a stupid penalty. There was no danger at all and he didn't need to make the challenge, and I hope this isn't the start of a comeback. Ricardo Santos for Barnet, into the top corner. Jones can't save those, and we're going to take Payne off immediately because he's been the worst player anyway. He'll come off for Brad Walker. We'll switch Mumba into that deep line role where he can start to control the game a bit more. Scrimshaw's not had the best of games either, so we'll give Matt Foy a chance up front. We could have brought Nelson on, but we want to give Foy the opportunity as he's been so good over the season. And we'll leave our last sub just in case we need it and things get a bit closer towards the end. From the kick-off, we're coming forward on the left with Berkovic. Berkovic with a long ball over, but Santos, the penalty taker, will deal with that. One of the centre-halves who was taking the penalty for some reason. Sokolic wins the header at the back, but it's headed away again. And now they're in 2-on-1 up front, Barnet. They come into the area with a centre-forward, but he's skied it. It's an awful effort on goal, but there are definitely some warning signs at the moment. We've got the ball on the edge of the area with Edwards-John on the right to Foy. Foy goes back to Mumba on the edge, the shot's blocked. Edwards-John back to Mumba again, and his second attempt's blocked too. That's out for a throw-in on the right, and Mumba will probably be on long throw duty now. Sokolic's bringing the ball away on the right hand side. Long ball over the top to Kennedy, but it's headed away. Corbridge bringing the ball down the right, but the highlight ends. It shows how good we've been in this game in front of goal and how good our three finishes were, because Barnet have had the only clear-cut chance of the game from the penalty spot. The 3 subs they've made at half-time have changed the game, and with just over 10 minutes to go, we're going to make another change. The 2 poorest players have been Hume and Edwards-John. We don't want to take Hume off really because we don't want to mess with the back line. And Ryan O'Sullivan, although he is on the bench, he's not particularly good defensively. So I'm going to bring Molyneux on the right for Edwards-John, and hopefully he'll just bring a bit of pace to the counter-attacks and we'll be able to see out the game. We've got the ball on the right hand side with Molyneux, crosses in which Santos knocks away as far as Mumba, into Berkovic in the box, puts the effort just wide, tried to guide it into the far post, but with his weak foot he wasn't able to find the finish. We've been given a warning to close down the centre forward and they've got a throw in this time with Johnson. He gets the ball back from the centre forward in towards Ramsey. On the edge of the box is forced backwards. Dempsey 35 yards out to Pugh. Pugh back to Dempsey again, and we're just going to hope that they don't get a chance out of this. Berkovic knocks the through ball away, but it's only fallen to them again. Pugh finds Ramsey 25 yards out, and Johnson on the overlap on the left. Deals to the centre forward, it's blocked. Johnson again, though, still in the area. Sokolic with a brilliant interception and clears the ball. The highlight ends, and with a few minutes to go, we're going to make our usual tactical changes. Time wasting as much as possible, be more disciplined, play for set pieces, and slow the pace down when the keeper's got the ball, just to make sure that we waste as much of these 3.5 minutes as possible. Molyneux with a free kick to be glided into the box. Corbridge heads away, but only as far as Berkovic. Out to Molyneux again on the right, inside to Foy. His shot's blocked. That would be the icing on the cake if Foy could score, but I don't see it happening. He's in awful form and hasn't got much confidence at all. We're into stoppage time and it's still 3-1. There we go, the 3 minutes are up. We've just got a corner into the box with White. Kennedy knocks it down, but the action comes to a close. What a performance from the lads. And I'll tell you what, we didn't have many clear-cut chances, but the 3 finishes were absolutely brilliant. Mumba started things off, the big game player, with a lovely glided finish from 25 yards. Another brilliant finish from the edge of the box from Berkovic from a corner. And then lastly, Mikhail Kennedy got on the end of a long Berkovic ball and emphatically smashed the ball into the top corner, beating the keeper at his near post from 12 yards. We're through to the semi-final and we've got Wrexham away from home. Not an ideal one because they play that narrow diamond, but we've got better results away against them than we did Forest Green. Let's just look at what they've said about the game. We had slightly less possession, but in the first half we were absolutely rampant. It could have been 4 or 5. We didn't create clear-cut chances, but we were just on fire from everywhere. We'll deal with the press conference in a minute. Garrett's issued an apology to fans because that was such a poor performance. And he's one who's been given a stick all season, so it's lovely to see him failing there in the big game. We've got Wrexham, as we already mentioned. That's in just 3 days' time, which is a bit of a concern. I'm not sure how many of them are going to be fit, but they'll have to play through it. I can certainly see some training rest coming in the next couple of days. Berkovic got man of the match in the game. We're going to go and praise a few of them off camera for their performances, and hopefully they'll be full of confidence going into that semi-final in a few days' time. I don't need to show you the schedule. You know the next game will be on camera. We'll be back in a couple of days' time for that big one against Wrexham in the semi-final. But if you did enjoy this one, please put a thumbs up on it. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of that performance and whether you think we've got a chance against Wrexham, bearing in mind they play that narrow diamond. And if we look at the home result we had against them this season, it was right near the start when we were doing well. I was pretty sure we lost very heavily to them when we did. A 4-2 defeat at home. It's the one where we were 4-0 down and then Scrimshaw scored 2 and got sent off for a ridiculous tackle. But away from home we got that 1-1 draw towards the end of the season and it was only a late equaliser that stopped us. So get your predictions in a couple of days early. Do you think we'll win it or not? And if you do think we'll win it, who's going to score the winner? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one part of the furniture with Torquay United and our other story, the head coach, where we work under a director of football with no say in transfers or contracts. There's been an awful lot of action already in that one in the first season and a half. It's certainly worth a watch if you haven't seen it already. And it's safe to say it's not going quite as smoothly as this one has. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time for the playoff semi-final.